Welcome to Loadout Lounge. My name is Seth Nichols, and we are going to look at some Olights. I know some of y'all may not like Olight, and some of y'all may. It's typically with anything and everything out there. Some people like certain brands, some people don't. I will say from my experience, these Olights have all worked for me very well and do a great job of illuminating my path or whatever I'm doing. So we have 5 lights. 2 of them are pretty much the same thing, just different colors. With these, I will say I've had the S2R Baton II the longest, but it's not been the one that I've used the most. Okay, so we're going to go from right to left, my side. So first up, we have the Olight I3 EOS. This is a AAA battery powered ultraviolet light. I will say you probably won't have a need for this unless you want to put it on a keychain and have it. I did use this while I was in law enforcement. I was able to track for blood or see different things at different crime scenes and just messing around a lot of times. But I also used this inside of my police car. A lot of cops have red lights in their car or off-colored that weren't white, so they weren't as lit up in the car. I use this to look around in the car to try to find certain things. That way I didn't have to turn my dome light on. This may not be for everyone, but I will say you're not going to be able to find this unless you look on eBay and find one on there. This one, I just looked at eBay a couple minutes ago, and it was $89.99 on eBay. You can't find it on Amazon. You can't even find it on Olight's website. But if you are wanting an ultraviolet light that can go on a keychain, if you're ever hunting and you're trying to track a deer in the middle of the night, this might not be a bad thing to have on your keychain or in your pocket. Yeah, the Olight I3 EOS. Next we have the I3T EOS. It's another AAA battery powered flashlight. It is in the OD green color. And I've just got a general Duracell AAA battery in this one. I will say probably out of all of these, I've got a black one as well. I recommend these to anybody. I've bought these as Christmas presents. These are fairly inexpensive. They work. They do a great job of just fitting in your pocket and not taking up too much space or being too large. A lot of times I put this black one I have in one of my jackets along with the Gerber Impromptu pen. I put in there and I just forget about it, and then whenever I wear the jacket, I have a flashlight, I have a pen, I don't have to worry about anything. But the I3T EOS is AAA. It has 2 different settings, either 5 or 180 lumens. You can find both of these around the $20 mark on Amazon. They have some more expensive versions. The carbon fiber is about $45, and then the titanium version is going to be about $36, $37 on Amazon right now. I recommend these for any like stocking stuffers or just birthday presents in general. If you have a young child that's coming of age and you want to get them a flashlight, this is a great flashlight. You don't have to worry about losing. And overall, $20 for a flashlight for AAA, it's not a bad price for a really handy flashlight. Next up, we have the I5T EOS. This is the step up as far as battery size. This takes a AA battery. It has the pocket clip just like the I3T EOS and as well as the SR2 Baton. These pocket clips are really great, especially if you wear a hat. I wear a hat typically everywhere I go, and with the I5T, the S2R Baton, and the I5T, you can just straight put it on your hat and walk around with the flashlight, and your hands are free. It makes it super nice if you're ever out in the dark and you're trying to use your hands to work on something, whether it's in the hood of your car, or if you're trying to find something inside of your car or just outside doing something and it's dark. It's a quick light without having to have a designated headlamp. I have a headlamp that's in my backpack, but generally sometimes my backpack's in the truck or it's at home. It's not on me at that moment. And this is the perfect light or lights with this type of pocket clip. Now with the i5T EOS, it is AA powered. Just one single AA powered will handle this light just fine. In here I have just, I think this is actually the battery that came with it. It's just an alkaline AA by Nuozing, just some generic Chinese brand battery. With the i5T, you have different lumen settings. You have a 300 lumen, which will last about 3 minutes, the 150 lumen, which will last about 25 minutes, and then the 30 lumen, which will last 122 minutes. On Amazon, this is $29.95. After tax, it's going to be about $32.50. And then if you get this from the Olight store, it's going to be a little bit more expensive because you're going to have to pay for shipping. If you have Amazon Prime, you're paying for shipping, but it's a lot cheaper because you're paying the membership for Amazon Prime. So the total from the Olight store is going to be $37.92. So Amazon, it's still their store selling it, but they just save you a couple dollars for using Amazon Prime for the shipping. So that is the i5T EOS, the AA. We will go on to the Olight S2R Baton II. Now on here, the charging part of the baton is magnetic, so you could stick this to a fridge or a safe. You can stick it to anything metal and it will mount to it. I bought this little ring to go on it, maybe a keychain ring. It is very strong of a magnet. It takes quite a bit of force to pull it apart. Most of the time I don't even have this on the flashlight. To be honest, I have a safe next to my bed and my glasses will come off. This is on my bed, or my safe on the side of my bed, and I will just hang my glasses there. That way I always know where they are. They're not falling in the floor. They're not on top of a shelf anywhere that I'm having a hard time reaching. I just have it right next to the side of my bed because typically I'm not going to use this. This is not going to be strong enough to mount to put to anything metal and hang a lot of weight from. You couldn't hang your backpack from this with stuff in it. But light stuff like your glasses or just something general like that, not a big deal. Most of the time, the flashlight is just like this. To charge it, though, you have to have a designated Olight MCC1A charging cable. Now, one reason why I stopped carrying this or don't carry it as much is because of this. The battery lasts quite a while. I don't have to charge it very often, but if this cable ever breaks down, I have to replace the cable as well. I have to buy another charging cable. And I looked at Amazon, and these are $14.99 on Amazon. It's not that expensive, but typically you can find AAA batteries or AA batteries a little bit more readily available. One recommendation I will say, though, if you plan on trying to charge this beside your bed and you have to have a dark room to sleep, this little clear plastic piece around the charger lights up, and it's going to be bright. I have to have pretty dark room in order for myself to sleep, and it'll either be red or green. If it's red, it needs to be charged, or it is charging. Green means it is full battery. And the red or the green, if you don't have something covering over it or charging this in a different room, it might keep you up at night. Now this flashlight also has a lanyard hole. I never used the lanyard hole. Typically I have a pretty easy time of getting this out of my pocket. And as far as the pocket clip, it's got the hat clip as well. It works very well. Now with this, it's not got a tail cap button. It's got a button on the side. All the other Olights that I have down here have the button on the tail end of the flashlight. So, as far as the S2R Baton II, like I said earlier, it's the one I've had the longest. And you can see that it's the green version and it's worn down pretty well, just going in and out of the pocket. It's the biggest and it weighs the most. It's probably why I tend to gravitate toward the i3T or the i5T. They're a little bit smaller overall shape, and they don't weigh as much. I don't want to have a whole lot of weight in my pocket. personal preference. I would much rather have something light and that can still light up the way. Most everybody has a flashlight on their cell phone. So if I need something brighter, it's going to be an Olight I3T or I5T. The flashlight on my phone does fairly well. It's just sometimes it's hard to get to that flashlight, especially if you're wearing gloves or something. So with the S2R Baton II, you can go with a half lumen for about 60 days, or you can do about almost 1200 lumen for 2 minutes. It takes the 18650 battery inside of it. It's a rechargeable battery. 3200 mAh, 3.6 volts. You can find these on Amazon and order replacements. With this light, I wasn't able to find it on Amazon. I found it on their Olight store for $62.99. Now that's not including tax, and that's also not including shipping. With this light, it also is IPX8 waterproof, so there is some water resistance there. I don't know how much I would trust it, this light, since I've had it a while and used it. But one of the nice things about this light that it has over all these others is that magnetic bottom, to where you can put it in the car, just wherever you need to, and then also it can go straight on your hat. Now I will say, if you have a weaker hat, the bill of the hat, I have a outdoor research hat. Ignore the sweat stains on it, but I use this one outside, and it's a little bit softer of a hat. The bill is still fairly strong, but you can tell it bends the hat over just a little bit more, unless you have the hat pretty tight to your head. So there's something to think about if you are a hat wearer, which you can tell I wear a hat most of the time. I don't want to get sunburnt on my head. Alright, so I'm going to go through and show you each of the lights and how bright they are and the different settings they have on the wall behind me. This wall is probably about 4 feet away from me, so it's not going to be a good test for how far the beam is thrown, but it can kind of show you the brightness settings. I'm going to go ahead and show you the i3 UV for those of you that are interested in an ultraviolet light that is keychain size. So let's turn the light off and we'll go. Alright, so this is the i3 UV. It's a fairly decent light for a keychain light. Okay. We will do the i3T EOS, the AAA battery powered flashlight. So that is the higher setting. Fairly bright for a AAA battery. Now this is not going to last very long on this setting with this AAA battery, but it'll help you see whatever you need to see. And then when you're wanting a little bit lower, dimmer setting, this is the dimmer. And it's going to be the same for the other color. Let's see if they're pretty close to the same brightness. They're pretty close to the same brightness. Alright, now we will have the I5T EOS. This one is the lower setting. And then you have the brighter lumens. This is a little bit brighter. It is a AA battery powered. And it works pretty well for how small it is and only being run on a AA battery. The S2R Baton II is going to be quite a bit brighter. This is the lowest setting. Then you have the brightness settings. It goes all the way up, 4 different brightness settings. This is the almost 1200 lumens. One thing with Olight on the S2R Baton II and probably some of the other lights is it does have a button light that shows green. That way you know where the button is. If your light is messed up or the battery's dead, you can kind of find that button. It goes off when you turn the light off though. So, pretty bright. So, if any of this helped you out to figure out Christmas presents, birthday presents, stocking stuffers, just you want to buy another flashlight to throw in your kit, Olight is a fairly decent brand. It's reliable for me. With all these lights, I've not had any trouble with them. They've not blown up on me. Typically when a battery needs to be replaced, I go to my backpack and I pull out a spare battery and put in there, and it's good to go. So if you liked any of this, feel free to comment other flashlights that you think would be a good recommendation for me to look at. If you liked any of these, I will have the links in the description below. Most of them will be on Amazon links, or I can find it on the Olight store. Feel free to like and subscribe and look out for future videos. All right, we'll catch y'all on the next one.